Downtown, I got that heat, let's go. Downtown, I got that heat, let's go.
Yo, what up, Nation Woody? I got a panel with me. SMT Podcast Midweek Special. Verizon Earnings Q3 2023. Looks like I got Zero Cool and I got B. What up, homies?
Good evening, Sneed. Good evening, Zero Cool. Good evening, Nation. Hope everybody's doing well.
Good evening, B. Good evening, Sneed. Good evening, SMT Nation. What is?
Good stuff, man. Hey, Verizon reported earnings today, right? We got a lot to say on this. I know it's going to happen, though, right? Like with respect to the live chat, you know what it's going to be. It's going to be mixed. You know, there's going to be a lot to celebrate, and there's going to be some things that, you know, get highlighted as weakness. I just want to share something with you guys so you understand where I'm coming from tonight, and possibly where B and Zero Cool kind of come in as well. The Verizon stock today popped. You know, it was a pop just like AT&T's pop. I don't know if you guys watched the live stream that we covered, you know, the AT&T earnings last week. And I think AT&T's peak on its pop was like 8%. I think it ended up at like 6.5 or 7 for the day, and then a couple more percent the following day. So if we count that 7, 8, 9% pop for AT&T post earnings, and Verizon basically did the same thing today. I mean, it did most of the damage like by 9 a.m. It was already up like 5-6%. So the street recognized what I think the SMT Nation, as well as the panel members that are here right now, they recognized what we've been saying. Like, and the reason why I'm starting with this statement is because I don't want anybody to lose track of this. As a business, Verizon is absolutely sound. It is a well-oiled machine. It generates free cash flow. The revenues are, industry best when it comes to wireless service revenues. They are what the competitors would want to be when it comes to those types of metrics. When it comes to financials, both AT&T would love to be AT&T and T-Mobile would love to be Verizon. When it comes to ARPU, ARPA, free cash flows, those types of things, right? They do carry a lot of debt, and that's not something that we neglect to mention. We always bring it up. So it's not like we're trying to sweep that under the rug, but they're a money machine. They have a good network that's been good for a long time, and it's getting newer, it's getting more modern. They have a bright future with respect to their main revenue streams, especially their new revenue streams. If there are 10 things that Verizon is doing, 8 of them are fantastic. I think there's 2 particular areas where Verizon sucks. And one of them I think is by design, and the other I don't know, and I don't think they know, and I don't know. But that's kind of my preface to all of this as we discuss it here tonight. Big shout out to the SMT Nation. We'll do some hellos. MS, David, appreciate you guys for coming through. Ryan is here. Jamie from the Hometown Custom PC. Good to see you as well. Jason D is in the house. Just saying hello to all my members and subscribers. Joe is in the house. Frank the Tank. The Magic One, Mike West. Vin is in the house. TJ is here. Giancarlo is in the house. S Blue Tech is here. Reader John is here. Artist's Dream is here. Sneed's washing his hands. Maybe I was. Let's see here. Everybody's excited to get B's commentary tonight. Look at that, man. Hey, Tech Guy 32, good to see you, man. Casually Unfiltered Forever. Troy is here. Welcome to the show, Austin. Appreciate you for stopping by, bud.
I'm the cash cow.
Yes, sir. That's why we pay you the big bucks, sir. What is up, Donald? All right, guys, you ready to start the show, man?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay, so I started kind of talking about the pop in the stock market, right? Let's start there, man. Here, pictured on the screen, is the stock. We're at $34.30. At time of market close, they were up 9.24% on the day. After hours, it looks like no action, so that's pretty much it. That's the run. B, jump in.
Yeah, so by all accounts, or just about all accounts, Verizon had a great third quarter. Of course, there was obvious areas of opportunity, just like there always is, and particularly for Verizon the last year to year and a half. But this is a very solid quarter, and I think the street saw everything that you just said, Sneed. From a financials standpoint, Verizon was very much elite, still king of the mountain, still industry leading, still very much solid, still very much a healthy business. That should be good news for not just consumers and businesses who do business with Verizon, but also investors, employees, society, everybody who has anything to do with Verizon, which is just about everybody in the country. We should all be, at least comfortable with that information. It's a good thing. From a growth standpoint, I thought that the company seemed to improve in a lot of metrics. Of course, being led, by, of course, its Verizon business portion, or that particular part of the company. Verizon Business continues to stand out. They continue to be elite. They continue to be industry leading. They continue to take share, and that's outstanding. I thought consumers showed vast improvement with respect to growth, going from 160,000 plus losses just one quarter ago, just 90 days ago, to now being at 50,000. I think is a tremendous improvement. It's heading in the right direction. That's a good thing. Of course, from a broadband standpoint, I think Verizon is showing people that fixed wireless access is here to stay. It is very competitive outside of its ILEC footprint, and then even Fios had, I think, Verizon said the best quarter that it's had from a growth standpoint in terms of internet ads in like 7 years. So, the expansion of that network seems to be going very well and adding value. And of course, Verizon had another quarter, I think, of over 400,000 total broadband ads across the country. That's really, really solid. So not a whole lot to pick on, in my opinion. I thought there was definitely more positive than negative that occurred in the third quarter for Verizon, and I think that momentum will continue going into the fourth.
All right, let me get you in here, Zero Cool. The vibes on the ticker today, how it responded in the stock market, and kind of the overall, vibes from the quarter for Verizon.
Yeah, I mean it's good. Stock is up. 290. So here's the thing: like Verizon, they could have just as bad of a stock day as what Sprint did, right? Like a $5 stock or whatever,
Damn. Yeah.
$7 stock, and they're still going to be number one. It doesn't matter. Like Verizon has always been number one. And the rest are just trying to catch up to them all the time, right? So the numbers, they were good. They weren't the best for the quarter. I think they're gonna have the next quarter probably. I'm assuming. I like to probably say like maybe Q1 of next year is going to be a really 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 solid quarter for them. It usually is. Um, so yeah, it's just 2023 has been tough, but I think next year they're definitely gonna be back to where they need to be. I think they know they're not performing the best that they could, but again, like Verizon has always fixed what they needed to fix. They're not like always hemorrhaging or anything out like all the time. They may have a bad quarter or maybe two, but still they learn from their mistakes, and that's why they continue to be number one. Um, but yeah, I mean the numbers were good, not the best, but it's just they're still trucking along. They're still popping out C-band like crazy. Um, their home internet is really good. It's that's shining too, right? So I think we're going to see more of that. Um, I think they're trying to really compete with T-Mobile for home internet subscribers, stuff like that. So, but yeah, Verizon is just they're a reason why they're number one, because they know how to play the game. They've been doing it for a long time.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, Zero Cool. Let's get Austin in here. Austin, what's your vibes on the quarter if you saw any of the numbers and kind of saw what happened with the stock relative to the performance?
So I've been doing a lot of homework into financial investments and just looking into financial stuff because of the way the economy is in the United States. For it to jump 9% with the fact that stock is on a downturn for everyone, it doesn't matter to the company, that's still pretty impressive considering the fact of people are pushing that stock up, considering where it hurts right now with the inflation and all that fun jazz. But when it came down to the earnings that I watched via your video, because I was on lunch break at the time, good video. And Verizon needs to work on their postpaid stuff for consumer. Business was good. I expect business because of the fact that you get very good priority with that, and very good stuff. The Verizon fixed wireless, that one's going to do good because it really does, like where I live and work. Some of the businesses use it because they only have the secondary option, CenturyLink DSL. And so far, it was good. Verizon's got some work to do as they are a major company, dropping from 150,000 or so lost to 50,000, like B said. That that's good that it dropped, but it's still rough. But it's a soft landing, as we would say, economically speaking, and that's about it.
That's a pretty good analogy. I think you're spot on. I think between the three you guys did a nice job of that. I think we should just jump into the numbers and just look at some of these things. So let's start first with consumer postpaid phone net ads, right? I
Yep,
want to look historically at the recent quarters and then look at this one, right? So Q3 2022, so 1 year ago this quarter, they lost 189,000, right? So this quarter, 51,000 lost. When you
that's a
compare
soft
year over
landing.
year, yeah, it's a lot less bad. With respect to last quarter, so quarter over quarter, they reduced from 136,000 lost to 51,000 lost. So regardless of how you look at it, quarter over quarter, year over year, it's less bad, right? So one could say that maybe the scab is starting to form after probably the worst year in the company's history, where the churn rate was so bad, it actually impacted their cash flows and revenues, right? So I don't want to say it's a foregone conclusion that Q4 will be net positive, but I can't see the other way. Like I don't see a Q4 where it's negative. So is it going to be plus 50,000 maybe? You know, that I think that's doable. You know, I don't think that's too hard. You got the holiday shopping and all of that. So, that's kind of where it is. And then with business continues to be a shining star, right? Quarter over quarter, they're at 144,000 last quarter, 151,000 this quarter, 197,000 last year this quarter. It's their strength. Business continues to be their shining star, even post Tammy Irwin retirement. And Sampath leaving business after a couple quarters, moving to consumer. They offer business grade solutions that the businesses, small, medium, large enterprise, whatever, they seem to like and appreciate. You know, with respect to broadband net ads, I want to be very clear about Verizon's broadband ambitions. Verizon is probably the best broadband provider in the US. And hear me out on this. They have added over 300,000 fixed wireless access subscribers for like 5 or 6 quarters in a row. So that the talk of the momentum slowing down there is just it's not happening, right? Uh Fios is ramping up. So year over year, they've almost doubled those numbers for Fios connections added. Quarter over quarter, they almost doubled as well. They did have 20,000 disconnects or so on DSL, but they added 70,000 Fios, right? So it's like a net of about 50 on wireline.
Man, who cares about them DSL customers?
I know, but we just want to make sure we cover all the,
Yeah, I
all the
know.
details.
I know.
uh,
I know. I'm pulling an AT&T.
yeah, man. So I really believe in my heart of hearts, I think Verizon is the best, most well-rounded home broadband provider in the US. I really don't like when people try to slice it and dice it otherwise because Verizon offers a national fixed wireless access service, and then they offer a regional fiber product, based on their ILEC and all those other restrictions that they have with their fiber distribution. It's just it's a very strong point of what they do, right? And the last thing I'll mention with respect to the prepaid side, they suck. They absolutely suck in prepaid. I can't remember when they had a positive prepaid quarter. I mean, I'm talking years. I don't remember. I mean, we're not talking about like they lost 20,000, 50,000. They lose several hundreds of thousands every quarter. This shit is crazy, son. 175, 351, 304, 207. I could do math, dog. They have lost 1 million subscribers in the last 4 quarters. 1 million. Like that is dish level losses, folks, for Boost Mobile. It's the same thing. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know either. But it is just so bad. So before we do the whole round table thing, and we didn't even talk about financials, we're just talking about the numbers, right? The customer numbers. If there's 10 things that Verizon is doing, 8 of them are like elite and 2 of them are bad. One of them is atrocious. The other one is just sort of bad. Wow. It's almost like they bought TracFone for nothing. It really doesn't make any sense. I believe they have a vision with Total by Verizon, so that's encouraging. But we're gonna have to see that retail presence scale, and we're gonna have to see them stop this bleeding. This is bad, right? I mean, they are paying customers. It's not like they're giving those customers free service, right? So, and before I kind of open it up to you guys here on the panel, shout out to S Blue Tech. Appreciate it. First super chat of the night. He said, I feel like Verizon offers some of the best business plans out there when it comes to the MNO. They differentiate themselves from the others. I agree. I think their plans on business, like in terms of access and priority and solutions, they've got the best package. I still think T-Mobile has reliability issues. I don't think everybody trusts T-Mobile with whether it's like security or network reliability or call quality, whatever. And I know that there's some people who don't want to do business with AT&T. So it puts Verizon in the catbird seat, for those opportunities. All right, so let me open it up to you guys here. Austin, you heard the numbers. Why don't you go ahead and chime in?
Can someone else, because I'm having a conversation real quick. I'll chime in.
Sure. Who is Raffi Legend? Who?
Caleb, would you care to tell him what that word is?
It sounds like some Mortal Kombat video game.
That is R5 Legend, sir.
Okay. I was gonna say I've never heard of this reference. Anyways, what's up, No Radio?
It's your boy No Radio, man.
Was
the
Hatton
R5 Legend in the building.
Talk to me, bro. You listening? You got that last part with all the numbers?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm happy to see good numbers. I just like you said, I think Verizon, like you said, they kind of suck in prepaid. But to me as an end user, do I care that they suck in prepaid? Not really. Fios internet net ad 72,000. I appreciate that number.
Oh, yeah.
That shows there is some kind of growth going on in the fiber product, so I can appreciate that number. Postpaid upgrades. So this is what existing customers upgrading or replacing or trading in phones, things like that.
Yep.
Or does this also apply to people upgrading their plans, or is it just like phones?
Like if they were to upgrade their phone or if they were to add new lines.
Yeah, I'm one of those 4.2 million. I upgraded phones.
Okay.
Consumer wireless retail postpaid phone gross ads 1.8 million. That sounds like that's a pretty good chunk of ads considering, for a while they've been losing customers to the cable codes. And that's a large number. That's almost what, a third of the cable co's total customer base?
Yeah.
That's good numbers. So, I mean, I don't have anything to complain about with these numbers. I'm happy with them.
Yeah, they look good. Zero Cool, jump in.
Yeah. So, a quick question: the prepaid net ads, does that include visible? Does anybody know?
Yes.
Okay, that's just downright awful. What is happening over there?
Well, the problem with visible is it's invisible. Like
Yeah, no, absolutely.
you can't go to Visible, you can't visit Visible. You know, it's like
Hmm.
it's almost like Fight Club, bro. Like you can't mention Fight Club.
Right, but the thing is that Mint is doing better than Visible.
Yeah, but Mint has they have the people, the skill, the talent. You know, I like in my opinion, I thought, you know, when T-Mobile came in to try to swoop up and take Mint, I thought it was Verizon that actually got intercepted. I think they wanted that talent. They wanted that business model.
It looks to me like Mint is out advertising all the other prepaid stuff.
They are, yeah, for sure.
I mean, visibility is everything.
So with respect to prepaid, it's funny that we're even talking about this, but with respect to prepaid, I think Verizon knows that prepaid is an area of opportunity. I kind of challenge everybody to think about Verizon historically when it comes to prepaid. There hasn't really ever been an emphasis in prepaid in Verizon's history until now. Like there really hasn't been. So there's kind of a changing of the guard. There's a mindset change. There's some technological things I think that they reported need to be completed, as far as moving some people off of the other networks and fully onto Verizon, all that kind of stuff. I think that stuff is still going on. So all that's got to be taken into consideration. There's a long road to go to complete everything I just said and get them kind of churning. What I heard from the investor call was that the company is working on putting more of a presence out there. I think they've chosen, Total by Verizon to kind of be the flagship prepaid brand. And I think that they reported that they are going to, or that they are in the process of scaling stores across the country to 750 by the end of the year, which is great. That's part of what Verizon needs is to get out there, to have a retail space and a retail presence that's big enough to be able to advertise and to absorb and be a presence in markets where the people are. So definitely a good thing. There's positive work that's going on there, but it's going to take a while because prepaid hasn't really been a priority for that company until the last 2, maybe 3 years, if that. So it's going to take a while for
I
that
don't.
flywheel to get where it needs to be in order to be able to compete with everybody else. Because AT&T, to their credit, for example, they've been in prepaid for a while. They've taken prepaid seriously, and because of that, they've had a lot of success. Same thing to a certain extent also with T-Mobile. So it's just going to take a little bit of time, but I think Verizon's got the money. They've got the ability to be able to advertise. They'll be fine in that space. They'll be fine.
I don't think this is historically only the prepaid though. I would say pre last year's Super Bowl, before the Super Bowl, Verizon almost had no marketing going on even before that in their postpaid services. When that Super Bowl hit though, they went crazy with the 5G home internet ads. Before that, I don't remember seeing a lot of Verizon ads before that.
Yeah, they hit the fixed wireless pretty aggressively, but remember
Yeah.
they have a lot riding on that no radio. They
Oh yeah.
spent 50 billion on C-band. They gotta get
Absolutely.
some of that back, you know.
My point is, I felt like they kind of got lax, over the last few years, and then they decided to start back pushing marketing after that Super Bowl.
Well, I
Oh
mean,
snap!
And it was needed. It was needed because it made them visible again to other than knowing they're great, they're now shouting we're great again to the population. It's needed.
well, I
The
mean,
invisible pun.
the the data seems to suggest otherwise. They've had several quarters in a row of well over 300,000 total broadband. Most of that has been fixed wireless access. So I don't think they've struggled, and now they're just now getting good the last quarter or two. No, this
Oh
is
no,
going
no, I'm
back to
not saying that.
2022.
I'm talking about it as a customer facing. We didn't see ads pre Super Bowl heavily from Verizon. I ain't saying sales figures. I'm saying we didn't see them advertising heavy like the T-Mobile advertises. T-Mobile's even want to advertise when they're not great, and we didn't see that heavy hand from Verizon or you same way before Mint Mobile and this whole T-Mobile merger thing started. Mint was heavily advertising.
Yeah,
I
they
saw
were
more
very
Mint and
active.
T-Mobile
Yeah.
ads than any other company.
Yeah.
Period. For the last
Gotcha.
5 years. That's what I'm
Gotcha.
saying.
Understood. Okay, I got you. Makes sense.
All right, let me
Yeah.
get the super chat real quick, folks. And then Zero Call get you back in. S Blue Tech says every single person I know that has a visible line is involved with tech in one way or another. They need a huge marketing push. That's probably true. You have to really be looking for visible to know that it exists. And then it's like this incredible offer, but people just don't know. Big shout out to Frank the Tank. a longtime member and supporter of the SMT. Hans, getting new Gators Q1 24. Absolutely. And Ohio Rail fan, appreciate the super chat from one of our members. He said, yo, Sneed, I posted a new video. I tagged you in it. Let me know what you think. Absolutely, sir. Big salute to you. Thanks for supporting us, and I'll be sure to check that out. Zero Cool, jump in.
Yeah. So again, they're prepaid needs some work. Needs help. So I like to
It
see.
needs milk.
Yeah, I like to see the 1.8 million customer wireless postpaid phone gross ads be at 2 million. I think that should be their average that they should need to strive for. There was a time that every single quarter, T-Mobile has been adding 1 million every single quarter. Well, now it seems to be that the bar, right, as if you will, should be 2 million. I think Verizon needs to get that up at least average 2 million customers to maintain their lead. As far as the FiOS net ads go, um, I know they've been doing some work in those markets. They recently expanded the fiber into those markets as well. Those 9 states that they own, right, for FiOS. So I like to see that up at least 100K minimum, right? Because they put the infrastructure in there, the more fiber, so they need to get the sales going on that, right? So, but that's it for as far as these numbers go.
Everything that you guys have said, it sounds like is what's going on. I know, for example, to you guys' point about Visible, the advertising has increased. They have the new promotion or the new commercial out with the whole response to the yada yada crap. Um, that's been good. I've seen that. That's starting to ramp up. Total by Verizon has been doing some good stuff in New York City, giving out cards for MTA for people to be able to get on to the subways and everything. When the city announced that pricing was increasing there, there's been some good things going on in prepaid, but again, it's just going to take time. I know it's 2024 and people don't like to wait, don't like to do those types of things, but we're talking about trying to ramp up essentially a brand new company within a company that's never really had a very big emphasis on prepaid. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's going to take some time, but it seems like the money's being spent there. The investment is there, and there's certainly, a desire from leadership from Hans all the way down to make sure that they become at least a viable player in prepaid. I mean, we're not talking about 200,000. I mean, new prepaid customers a quarter. I mean, AT&T does 40, 50,000. I think that's more than reasonable for that particular portion of the market to be competitive. 30 to 50,000 new customers every quarter. That's just fine. So I think that's possible and it can be done. The same thing with respect to postpaid. Continue to hit the advertising well and hard. I think Verizon will be fine.
All right, fair enough. Let's move our way down to the financials. Let's talk revenues. Let's talk service revenues and free cash flow.
Before you get to that part,
Yeah,
I'm back, Sneed.
You're back. Okay, go ahead.
All right. I first want to say, B, I never thought I'd hear you on a podcast give T-Mobile credit on an earnings scenario.
Yes, Sneed's going to delete that tonight. So you heard it once. You ain't gonna hear it tomorrow.
No replay crew on that one.
I screen captured it already.
I'll make sure. I'll make sure I keep it in the archives. No, I'm just kidding. No, like I said earlier, the whole fixed wireless thing. And I was testing Verizon a little bit here at the house before I even think about getting rid of the Comcast and going to Verizon fixed home internet once they get the 5G Ultrawide rolled out here, to cut some bills because of the inflation and stuff, and just condensing things down to make things more affordable. Even with 30 megahertz of spectrum total, where I'm at, 20 to 30 megahertz at times. Sometimes it's only 10 because of that lovely band 13. As long as I'm not doing a speed test, the reliability for Verizon's network, especially because I have a business line, it's up to the par like my Comcast. That's 400 meg throughout the whole house. It's nice.
Good. All right. This next setup is going to be an emphasis on the financials. All right. So total revenues quarter over quarter up 32.6 to 33.3. Year over year, it looks like a drop. Wouldn't say it's anything crazy. It's just slightly under $1 billion. I'm assuming it might be just upgrade numbers just aren't there, right? Maybe some of the device upgrades and promotions aren't there, so that impacted service revenues. Total wireless service revenues are up year over year and quarter over quarter. So that's encouraging, I suppose. With respect to the EBITDA, the adjusted EBITDA up 0.2% year over year, adjusted EBITDA margin of 36.7%. I'm not sure how investors feel about the EPS, but it's down 7.6% year over year. If that means anything to anyone. Based on the stock price today, I would assume that they're okay with it. Free cash flow came in at $14.6 billion 3 quarters into the year. Last year, which was like basically the company's worst year ever, they came in at $12.4 billion at this time. So, as a comparison, worst year ever compared to, I guess we'll call this a normal year, the new Verizon, new normal. Unsecured debt did drop. So that's good. The net unsecured debt also dropped. Looks like they're paying down their debts a little bit. That's encouraging. They got a lot of it, so making payments on that is good. I'm sure that they've got some expiring, adjusted, calculations from the CFO who's making that work. But the free cash flow was encouraging. They actually guided up free cash flow just like AT&T did. I have a prediction though. I do think AT&T is going to finish the year with more free cash flow. I do.
Well, yeah, we got a bet on this, Nate.
Yeah. I think AT&T is going to finish a little higher. So if they've got 14.6 right now, no, never mind. My calculations are off.
Yeah,
I got
see,
Verizon. I got Verizon finishing the year at about 19 for the modest, 20 on the high side. I think AT&T is going to come in around 17 and a half. AT&T, T-Mobile is probably going to come in 10, 11, maybe 12 billion on the high side, right? So, they're making money, man. These companies, I can't think of an industry where you can have 110, 20, 130, 140 million customers and they all pay their bill every month religiously, no exceptions. They'll disconnect their car payment from auto pay before they give up their wireless bill, right? So it's a good business to be into. And this is one of the reasons why I don't really like when I hear like the industry complain about like overhead and capex and payment. Like there's not an industry in the world that exists that generates this type of cash flow. It's just absurd. I mean, imagine complaining about free cash flows, but you got 140 million customers paying their bill religiously, no questions asked. The shit's crazy. Have you ever heard a millionaire complain about business?
Yeah,
You just want to slap the shit out of them. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
happens every day. If telco was as profitable as you say it was, there wouldn't be like 20 other companies that make more than them. So I think there are other industries that bring in better
20
cash
other
flow.
companies. How many companies exist on this planet?
Well, there's 500 in the S&P.
No.
So,
How many companies in the world?
oh man, shoot, there's millions and millions and
And we're
millions.
talking about the top 20, bro.
No, I don't disagree, but you said industries, so I was just responding to what you were saying. I mean, you look at companies, which is just about everybody that function off of the telco, off the backs of telcos. Those are the ones that are really making the real money. I mean, ask Apple, for example. Ask Microsoft, for example. Nvidia. Those guys are part of the Magnificent Seven, not Verizon, not AT&T, not T-Mobile. But I do understand your point. Your point is valid. It's valid. It's valid. I get it.
Sneed, did you see them people on, I think it was Fox News? They were amazed that the American people took a poll and said that the auto workers deserve raises. They were appalled that like the majority of America believes they should get raises.
They were appalled, man. You want to talk about the elitist of the elite?
They
God
were
damn, bro.
appalled.
They were appalled. Wow, man. You want to talk about folks that are disconnected from reality, man.
I don't know, man. I mean, if you guys knew what the automakers were, you know, if more people knew what they already make today, I'm not
But
sure
that's
if
not the
people would feel
problem,
that way.
B. This is like when you are at the top of the mountain and everything is fantastic, and you have people that are fighting for more that are lower than that. You ain't trying to hear that, dog.
I mean, we're talking about six-figure earners. We're not talking about people making $40,000 a year. I mean, if it was the teachers, then I would be. You're absolutely right. They deserve more money. We're talking about six-figure earners. Let's keep that in mind.
But the
I'm not
problem
saying
is,
that they don't deserve a raise, because they definitely do. But I just want to make sure that we understand that the United Auto Workers, these guys make six figures.
Yeah, but I don't see
So if I was,
CEOs taking pay cuts. They're giving themselves more bonuses.
yes,
well, but that's true. But I don't think Ford, Stellaris, I think is the new name, and GM are saying that they shouldn't get raises. I just don't think they want to give them like 40% raises. I mean, who gets 40% raises? I don't know anybody who does.
So here's the thing, B. I don't have a problem with companies and bargaining agreements. I feel like the workers should fight for what they can get, and then the businesses should also fight for what they can get. Operate in
yes.
one's best interest, but do not scream from the top of the mountain that the peons shouldn't get shit and they're already getting enough.
I don't think that any of the three leaders of
No,
the
did you
auto
hear
companies
what he
have
just
ever
said?
said that.
No,
What
did
did
you hear what he just said about those people on Fox?
what did he say?
Repeat it again.
They could not believe that when they did a poll, the majority of the people voting on the poll agreed with the auto workers getting raises.
When you
They
say
were
they,
appalled.
when you say they, are you talking about Fox News commentators, or are you
No,
talking
well,
about the CEO?
these were not employees. These were people who run big companies that were amazed that their conservative audience also believed in the raises.
Okay, so
That's
I'm asking for specifics. Are you saying that like the CEO of GM said?
no. But people who have been CEOs at major companies that were talking about it, along with the anchors, they were all amazed that their base of audience also agreed with the pay raises. That's what the amazing was. You can look it up. You can watch it yourself.
Well, I mean, I don't. I mean, I definitely believe you, but I will say
Because
this. I think that there's a
you know why I say that though, Brian, right? So here's an example, right? There are trucks that 6 years ago were 65 grand. They're $120,000 right now.
That's true, and I agree, and that's the issue that I think I think people have to make sure that they understand when it comes to the United Auto Workers. I don't think enough people know that they already make six figures before they sign another before another CBA is consummated. They already make it. Hear me out. They're already making another six figures, and then when you talk about what's on the table, the auto companies have already offered upwards of 20% raises. So we're not talking about we're gonna give you 4%. No, they're already in the 20s. So I think if people kind of educate themselves on exactly what's already on the table and what many of the people within that particular union make before this particular agreement is even consummated, I think you may get some differences as far as people saying, "Oh, well, wait a minute," because the average person in America doesn't make six figures.
But I understand that, right? I understand what you're saying, right? But what you got to look at is the bottom earners in all companies have raised up. So when all the bottom raises and the top doesn't change, their money that they already make is devalued. That's the thing. So you got people who work at jobs that years ago, a person who was a bottom worker was making $5 an hour less than them. Now they're making the same thing.
Agreed, and that's why
they have no skill set whatsoever. No skill.
I don't disagree with you at all. I don't know very many of like GM, Ford, Stellaris. They're not necessarily asking for a bachelor's degree to work in the those particular factories. So I'm with you as far as the educational point is concerned. But I just want to make sure that I point out that many of the people, again, they're already making six figures before they even get to this particular new deal. And in order to compensate for, like you said, inflation and things of that nature, 20+% raises is already on the table.
I get that, but what is you know what the average person? You know what the average person there makes? It ain't six figures. It's 6.
I mean, it depends. I mean, is that before or after overtime? Because chances are they're probably getting tons of overtime.
Well,
let's be honest, man.
Well, I'll put you like this: if I look at the glass door for my corporation, every single price they show is like 25 grand less than I actually make with my overtime.
Exactly.
So that means that these people with overtime, meaning they're working extra hours, you should be paid. You shouldn't calculate what I make in overtime to use against me for a raise.
Well, I mean, if that's what you made, like if that's what your W-2 says, then that should be factored in what you got paid.
Well,
I mean,
here's
that
the
is
thing,
what
though,
that
right?
is.
Here's the thing, though, right? If the corporation, if they're going to use my overtime against me, why don't they just hire more people instead of making me work extra hours? Because the majority of these people are being forced into these overtime scenarios.
Yeah, because the logistics on that doesn't make sense. That's why
they're being forced into this overtime.
I don't think overtime is being used against anyone. I think you're just reporting data. Okay, if employee A made this and employee B made this, of course it does. It counts for what you were paid out. Like like the IRS looks at what you got paid, not what your regular.
I understand that, but we ain't asking the government for a raise. We're
saying you're asking the company.
If I work my 40 hours, I want that rate to increase. So for the times I don't get overtime, or if you decide that you want to cut my hours because y'all can't sell enough cars, now I end up making 20 grand less this year out of nowhere.
And that's why on the table is currently a raise of 20+%.
Yeah,
like it's like they're already like inflation's not
at cost of living. That's horrible. You know,
I don't disagree, guys, but the cost of living inflation ain't 20%. I mean, we're talking about inflation at 4%. They're like, what's on the table? If I'm not mistaken, I think it's a 23% raise. Like, we're not talking about small amounts of money. A 23% raise. Have you ever gotten a 23% raise in 1 year without getting a new job? Congratulations.
I think you're missing
because most Americans have not.
B, you're missing the point. He's saying that they were on the side of them getting paid more. You're arguing like the details of how much. Like, he's just saying the sentiment of the folks. The American public sticks together, bruh.
Do they? Oh, man. Are you sure? And in this country?
When it comes to monetarily, yes, they do.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see in 2024. We'll see. I don't know.
The working American.
Okay. Now you got me chiming in on this one. All right, here it comes. America will.
Okay, go ahead, Austin, because I got to get this thing back on track. Go ahead.
America will when they want to survive, but when they want to be stupid, look at Florida's housing market. Look at the way Florida's economics is.
America stick together. I don't know, man. America stick together. I don't know.
When it comes to worker wages and stuff, they do.
I don't know, man.
Appreciate the super chat and also the coffee you just sent. I recall a few shows back where B said that T-Mobile had a good network. Hashtag 5G GOAT. Absolutely.
Oh,
I remember when he said that.
That's a lie. Never trust that guy. I never said that. Never trust that guy.
Green chimed in with the super chat. Appreciate you. Thoughts on the 5G GOAT reaching 300 million people covered in ultra capacity? Did you guys read the Fierce article? Yeah, we'll probably hit it on Friday on the podcast. But I will have a video for it too. It's been all Verizon earnings today, and I have been able to get to it. So big shout out to all the coffee supporters and the super chatters. Thank you.
Hey, that was a great little sub discussion too, by the way. You know, the auto workers and all that was great. That was a great discussion. Good job, guys.
All right, here we go with this last piece for the Verizon, I guess the earnings call and report. Delivering growth across key metrics and meeting 2023 financial targets. To me, that means, keeping to the CapEx, paying dividends, making sure shareholders are solid and, meeting the revenues, free cash flows, right? For consumer mobility, I don't know. I don't even know why they even bother putting the statement in here, honestly. That has to be the biggest load of crap lip service in the industry. It's just a joke at this point. Anybody who's being strung along thinking that Verizon's ever going to do anything about this consumer thing, it's going to be like this is the new Verizon norm. They're going to have one quarter with positive net adds in consumer and then 3 negatives. And somehow, some way, we're supposed to believe that trend is going to reverse. But I'm not chasing. I'm not giving up the ghost on that. C-band, absolutely. They're still spending the money. They're still dedicating massive amounts to the CapEx. The pace of upgrades is phenomenal. The network's getting better every day. mmWave is going to get a reinvigoration. Small cells are going to be reinvigorated. It's going to be good. Right? The network is not the problem. It's getting better all the time. There are still some parts of the country where you don't have any C-band, and Verizon's network is elderly, outdated, and sorely needs a retrofit. So that'll continue to improve, and then they can start selling their converged bundle between wireless and home internet, and they can win that way. That's really what they need. I think it's time we start looking at some of the statements from the CFO and the CEO. I wrote down a few things, and if you guys were able to listen in or whatever, you guys can throw on your statements as well. So with respect to this is crazy. With respect to churn rate, guys, they came in at 0.90 for postpaid churn, phone net churn. That's going to be worse than the industry, guys. That's not the first time this has happened. They had industry worst last quarter as well. I think that's it. I think that's the new Verizon. I think the new Verizon is third place in a three-horse race. They have the worst churn, and I don't think it's changing. AT&T, for whatever it is that they offer, B has said that they don't have value in their plans and all these other things, but their churn is a lot better than Verizon's. And T-Mobile has proven that they've been able to drive down their churn, and they had industry best churn last quarter. And they're probably going to have industry best churn this quarter. I would be surprised if Verizon ended up having a lower churn rate than T-Mobile, but we'll find that out tomorrow, right? Hans said in a quote, "We feel good about our retention." My God, man. Let's just go from there. All right. Austin, do you want to discuss that point? Industry worst churn, probably, and Hans says he likes that churn.
Man, Hans, it's time for you to go to bed. But no, on a serious note, that's kind of sad that he said that. Not looking good.
No radio. You want to comment on that?
I don't really have an opinion on it. I don't, like you say, Sneed, don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do.
Yeah, man. Zero Cool. Anything on the churn?
Yes. I think he's talking about the churn rate of his Gator shoes. Yeah,
changing them 3 times a day, maybe 2 or 3 times.
He's changing something, and it ain't his earnings. So, yeah. They need to they need to focus on matching, at least matching, right, the churn rate of T-Mobile. Okay, this is pathetic. Like, whether it's they need to have some new tactics for customer retention. I don't think the $10 credit is enough. Okay, they need to do maybe some. It would be nice to have even deeper discounts, possibly something to like woo the customer. Like maybe 6 months of free service, 3 months, 6 months of free service. I don't know, something to like keep the customer, because their churn rate is atrocious. And that's what I have to say.
All right, B, on the churn.
Wow, we've come to a point where .9 is atrocious. Woo, man! A few years ago, T-Mobile was like a 1.2, but hey, .9 is atrocious. Hey, you know what, guys? I understand. It's a new day, so I'll say this. I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility for churn to come down for Verizon as they continue to expand their C-band and millimeter wave networks. So I think the official announcement is right around 230 million pops covered. We know that there's 330 million plus people in America, and that there are significant portions of the country that still have no access to C-band at all right now, and are still on, quote unquote, just needs point, outdated networks. So as that population continues to decrease with respect to not having access to C-band, I don't understand how anyone thinks that churn number won't go down. That doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. As the network continues to improve, that's the sweetness. That's the deterrent from churn. It's the network performance for Verizon, at least. Like, that is what people are looking for. Right now, people think, hey, well, I got this company over here that's doing better than my LTE with, quote unquote, band 13 only. So if those people have access to C-band, have access to the latest and greatest, now all of a sudden you're looking at that, plus also looking at T-Mobile, which is now the most expensive in the industry from a price plan standpoint. Excuse me. I'm suffering with the concept that you guys think that .9 is going to be the new industry standard for Verizon. It just doesn't make a lot of business sense to me. The logic just isn't there. They've still got 100 million people left to cover before, excuse me, I'm sorry, 70 million, I guess. But I'll just say for math purposes, they got about 100 million people still left to cover before they can call everybody in all 50 states or whatever, all 49, almost 48 states contiguous have access to the C-band network. So
All right, so
I personally think that churn is going to go down.
So let me reply to that. They said that where the C-band is, the churn is substantially lower. That's included in this number. 0.90 is not the churn outside of C-band. 0.9 is the national churn.
Very true.
That includes areas with C-band and without C-band.
Very true.
So that to me tells me that outside of C-band, their churn rate's over 1.0.
Okay, so if the places that don't have C-band decrease as they continue to roll out C-band, why wouldn't that .9 number go down as C-band expands?
Because it's already in 230 million pops.
Yeah, but there's 330 million people in the country.
That's
so
100
that
million
means,
left to touch.
Yes, so that's 100 million people that right now don't have access to the best thing Verizon can offer. So if you expand it,
don't match. Like
I'm not saying that the numbers match. What you're saying makes sense. I know that whether it's C-band availability or not, all of those places are included in the .9 number. I agree with you. But to what Hans's point is, it sounds like that the places that have C-band have lower churns than the places that do not. So
here's another angle. Tell me what you think of this, right? AT&T has 190 million pops of C-band. Verizon has 230 million pops. AT&T's network is quote unquote inferior because they don't have as many pops of C-band.
It is.
Yet
yes.
Their churn rate is so much better.
Do you know why?
How do we explain that?
The reason why is because they offer the same promotion to new customers as they do existing. That's the difference. That is the difference. They have the best promotions for phones in the industry, and that's what saves them.
So let's address that, right? That because Hans spoke about this.
Yes, he did.
He said his exact quote: AT&T offers a peanut butter spread. Everybody gets everything.
Mm-hmm.
At our company, the right customer gets the right offer. He spoke to how he likes my plan. He likes the value added. Talked about how they took away the bundle discount on fixed wireless access. It improved the ARPA, the ARPU. And that's kind of where he went with that statement.
Okay.
So I think he kind of took a jab at AT&T for the peanut butter spread, right?
Yep.
And
as you should have.
Yeah, I have no problem with him taking that stab at them, but I mean, they have profitable growth.
Not as much as Verizon.
Verizon doesn't have growth.
They got more profitability. Like Sneed, I've told you this before, and I'm going to continue to say it because it's the truth. In the telco industry, you oftentimes have to choose between profitability and growth. It is very, very difficult to achieve both consistently at scale. It is very, very difficult.
So is it better to have both, or is it better to just have one?
Well, it's better to have the financials when you owe $150 billion. That's the answer. So because
AT&T owes 137, they can play it differently.
Yes. They have to.
Come on, bro.
They have to.
God,
so
bro.
They have to. So Sneed. If I'm wrong, why'd they lay off 10,000 people this year?
No, it's not that you're wrong. It just it violates what you just said because
no, it doesn't.
It's the difference between 150 million and 137 billion.
The difference is 137 billion plus a cut dividend. That's the difference. Like they're operating not at a position of strength. They're operating from a position of weakness. They had to cut their dividend and lay off 10,000 people this year and counting, and they plan on doing it again in 2024 and maybe even in 2025. So their financials honestly are inflated because they're laying people off to get the financials that they need. Let's be honest. They are. They laid off 10,000 people in the fourth quarter just started. So, like, has Verizon done that? Or have their financials been a little bit more organic? That doesn't mean I'm not saying Verizon hasn't had layoffs, or maybe won't experience them in the future, but will they be to the same degree as AT&T?
Well,
Probably not.
AT&T has threatened to cut the dividend. They still haven't, but yeah,
Well, I
they've
mean,
threatened to do it.
there have been no such cuts. There have been no such threats from Verizon. I think, what is it, 17 years in a row that they've increased the dividend?
17 in a row. Yeah.
Didn't they also increase guidance on free cash flow, just
They
like
did.
AT&T did?
They did.
Did they achieve that without laying off 10,000 people?
They
Actually,
did.
what are we talking about? There have been no such threats. When you're operating from a position of $15 is your stock price after releasing a third quarter, results that was really, really good. So that means it was less than that a week ago. After cutting a dividend, they don't have a choice. They have to give the same promotions to new customers as they do existing. They can't pick and choose. They're not operating from a position of strength. They have no choice. Sneed, I mean, the writing's on the wall. I don't understand. I mean, am I tripping? You guys don't. I'm not saying anything that's not public knowledge.
No. Everything you're saying is valid and legitimate. I'm just looking at it from how they have chosen to construct their business model, and that's it's what AT&T is able to do is play a very balanced game.
But is that by choice or is that by necessity?
Regardless, I don't know if it's by choice or necessity, but regardless, that balance allows them to be competitive every quarter.
Agreed. You're right.
Not only one quarter a year.
You're right.
That's the thing. Verizon is like a quarter to quarter company. The first quarter is awful. The second quarter has now become awful. Historically, it never was. So that's the new Verizon. Q3 is now awful. Q4 is the holiday quarter.
Well, Q3 wasn't awful by all accounts. Q3 was actually good. Their stock is up. Remember. I mean,
AT&T doesn't have quarters like that.
Well, you know what, Sneed? I disagree because there's a reason why their stock is at $15. So I disagree. I don't think that they've been roses and sunshine for the last 2 or 3 years. That's just not true.
The last 2 or 3 years has been a transitional period, getting away from media and the spinoff.
Okay, so then
if I'm evaluating the new AT&T, I like the new AT&T with the exception of the mass layoffs. You're right.
Okay, so that's fair. Remember, this is the same B that said AT&T had a great quarter. Like I've acknowledged that. But
because the numbers talk. You understand the financials, so you knew what
I completely agree, right. And you're right. But I also understand that they got chinks in armor just like every other company in telco does. And I also understand that their numbers with respect to financials are inflated because they're achieving much of their free cash flow increases by laying people off, Sneed.
Yeah, but their ARPU is really good. Their fiber is growing. Their strengths.
You're absolutely right. But are they as profitable as Verizon is?
They're not.
Did they achieve more revenue than Verizon?
No.
Do they have a better stock price than Verizon?
No.
Have they cut their dividend? Did Verizon cut their dividend, or have they increased it the last 16, 17 years? I mean, like Verizon. So it's again, it's a pick your poison type of industry right now. There isn't a company in America, with respect to the telco industry, there isn't a company in America that's achieving higher free cash flows, growth, profitability without layoffs.
Look, I know you're really driving that point home, but the truth is AT&T had a better quarter than Verizon.
It depends on how you look at it. It depends on how you look. I mean, you're right.
It doesn't depend, and I'll tell you why.
From a growth standpoint, you're right. I agree with you 100%. You're right.
It's not just from a growth. Overall, when I look at the same 10 things, like what was AT&T's weakness in the quarter? Their prepaid is the best in the industry.
Agreed.
Verizon has the worst.
Agreed.
Their postpaid growth is the best, in my opinion, because it's profitable growth. So even if T-Mobile shows up with 700,000-800,000 net adds, it doesn't mean anything to me. And cable's net adds, they just basically are subsidizing the Verizon network. They're giving away lines for free.
All good point. And I don't disagree.
So to me, the weaknesses of Verizon are in spades at AT&T.
Well, you know what, Sneed? I don't think that you're wrong for taking that stance, but I would again point to those very same financials. For as strong as AT&T's quarter was, who made more money? Despite the challenges in prepaid and the challenges in consumer, who made more money? Who was able?
I
Who was?
do
Who,
think Verizon's leaving some out there though, B.
I agree, and you're right about that. We've spoken about that before in private, and you're absolutely right. I agree. There's still more left to do. There's still more work to do. They're not a perfect company
You know,
by
a
any
wise
means.
man said to me once. He told me there was still some meat on the bones, man.
Absolutely, still meat on the bones. I don't disagree at all. All I'm saying is, it seems to me that the data would suggest that Verizon has been able to achieve industry-leading profitability without having to lay off 10,000 people in a year.
And let me get my man
Verizon
Carlos up in here. Let me get my man Carlos up in here.
What up,
bro?
Los?
Hello, everybody. We're gonna fix Verizon. We're gonna make it the best Verizon.
Hey, Hans, can I ask you something real quick, Hans?
I have to get me my new gator Sneed.
Hans, can I ask you a question, please?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me about the momentum for Q3?
We had the best momentum in the quarter, but AT&T, of course, they offer everything. They give everybody the peanut butter. But we will give the peanut butter at Verizon soon too.
You guys gonna start giving away the peanut butter, the Jif?
Yes, sir. We have to give 25% discount to our first responder like AT&T because our discount sucks.
I heard T-Mobile was giving away the whole kitchen.
Yo, man. All right, so we only have one more provider left, man. And that's T-Mobile, and they report, I think, tomorrow after market hours. So we'll have all the numbers we need, man.
I told you T-Mobile's giving away the kitchen.
Yeah, I wonder what the numbers are going to be. I think they're going to have a better churn than Verizon. I don't know if they'll have a better churn than AT&T. Maybe it'll be better. Maybe he's just slightly behind them. We'll see.
They're giving away the kitchen, but they need to put a lock on the refrigerator so they stop getting hacked.
Damn.
Oh, snap. They said, nah, we ain't going to put a lock on that. They said it was secure enough, just like their security.
Yo, quick one. Just as a thing, a follow-up, because I talked about this on another video. Verizon was asked about cable again, right? Cable companies and that structure and all that. They really don't want to talk about cable, man. They really do not want to. They don't want to mention anything about cable. They do not. Offloading gigs of data, all those types of things are always asked, and they just don't want to talk about it, man. Hans talked about AI, customer care, some of that stuff improving the customer experience. I don't know how, but that's what he said. Let's see here. Total by Verizon. He spoke about that, more stores, that initiative rolling out, deploying across the country, more retail locations and stuff like that. I actually think Verizon has an opportunity, and I'll run it by the panel. You guys tell me what you think. Boost Mobile's on fire. Boost Mobile is an absolute piece of shit. Those offers that they don't compete. Cricket, Metro, and other MVNOs offer more complete and thorough plans. And Boost Mobile it's going to end really badly for them. I feel like Verizon has an absolute massive opportunity where they can, in the next 5 years, take millions of customers from Boost. Boost literally doesn't care. They're apathetic to competing in prepaid. Total by Verizon can have all of them if they want. I've said this before. I will say it again. Total by Verizon needs to have a plan called Boost Over Here or Boost This Way. It's a $55 plan. It gives you a truly unlimited data experience. The rate plan is guaranteed for 1 year. Get those customers away from Boost. Take them. Give them the Verizon network access. Truly unlimited. Deprioed after 30 gigs or whatever, but not throttled, but deprioed. And just take all those customers. Give them an unlimited plan and reap the benefits. Hey, you want some priority data? Give them 50 gigs of priority data. That's a $60 plan. Those are plans that literally Boost won't give their customers. They won't offer them that. And I don't know why. I thought they had 70% of the U.S. covered.
They need to call it the Where You At plan.
Yeah, the Where We At plan. You know.
Well, thank you for the suggestion, Sneed. We will do that at Total by Verizon.
Damn. What else, guys? What else you want to discuss here? We're already an hour and 12 minutes in. It's basically open mic right now.
I got a Boost Infinite ad earlier today.
Yeah, they're popping for sure. That's the thing. I think Boost Infinite is going to be their saving grace. I agree. Sneed, I do agree with you. Their regular Boost mobile pricing is absolutely horrible. But,
Boost
we'll see
Mobile
what happens.
needs to die.
It does. I mean, maybe
Bro, you guys
rename
should
it.
see how bad they are to their dealers, man.
Oh, yeah.
They're railroading those guys.
Yeah.
Bro, Sneed.
What's up, Los?
So, I don't know, man. I mean, if Verizon doesn't change their I think Verizon to make an impact and gain more customer base, I think they need to do the employer discount again, because they don't do that no more. They don't do employer
Yeah, they did it
discounts
briefly
like they
during
used to.
last year? It was like Q2 or something.
Bro, but I'm talking about like how they used to do it. Like you used to get 15% off, 20% off, depending on the company that you work for. Stuff like that. First responders used to get 25%. This is why I don't change my plan, bro. Why am I going to change my plan to those new piece of crap plans that literally, bro, is going to give me only $25 off if I have 4 more lines? That's all I get. I get 25% right now, the old discount. So why would I change?
I don't know. I think they're always there. So I don't know if you guys caught it on the earnings call, but Tony Skiatis, the CFO, said that by using price action, which basically means, price increases on legacy plans, they added $100 million in revenue. $100 million.
Oh.
So that goes to show you how many legacy accounts there are and how many they were able to hit for extra few bucks.
Yeah, and all that did was pay for some raises.
Dude,
in the upper end of the company.
I paid for them bonuses, man. Those bonuses that none of the employees get, but only the quote unquote leadership gets.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. It's not true.
I can do that,
do that.
bro. How many executives get bonuses?
There are employees that get bonuses too.
How many executives get bonuses?
Do you think that Verizon employees get bonuses as well?
Right, but $100 million is not going to all those employees. It's going to all those executives. It's $100 million, not $100 billion. B.
You don't think $100 million can go to employees?
It's going to leaders. Their bonuses are very fat, sir.
All right. I heard you.
I mean, come on, man. I guarantee you Hans's bonus is probably...
He's the CEO. He's the CEO.
15,
I mean,
he's taking 15% of that.
All right, he's the CEO. I mean, he's the CEO. He's the C.
Then there's a CFO, and then there's not a CMO anymore, but there's a CTO.
My God, man. All right. You're right.
But they laid off 5,000 folks a few months ago, right?
Yes, they did, according to all the...
See, I wasn't going to let that slide either, B.
Hey, man, you're right, man. But 10,000 ain't 5,000, and 5,000 ain't 10,000. That's all I'm saying, man. As long as we're consistent, I'm good.
We are.
But sometimes it sounds like we're a little bit more tough on one company than versus the others.
That's
so as
right.
long as we're consistent, I'm good.
You know why? You know why I'm tough on Verizon? Because they ain't the 5G goat yet. That's why.
Oh, stop it.
Bro,
House alone got like $18 million in additional funds just last year.
He's the CEO. CEOs make that kind of money. Like, that's what happens. What are we talking about? Like, you think Seaford's broke?
Brian,
you think Stanky's broke?
Needs an additional $18 million.
I'm not saying I'm not here to talk about.
Say they want 30%.
I'm not here to say what people deserve or don't deserve that are in CEO position. I'm just telling.
Don't need 30%, but
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said they're already being offered 20+%. That's what I said. Okay, and that's fine. And I'm you know what? That's cool. That's why they're on strike. And that's why the companies are saying no. It's negotiations. Do what you do. All I
Right.
was trying to say was these people already make six figures. So if you're okay with them already making six figures, then you can't possibly be
Six
dissatisfied with
figures is
people making a lot
nothing
of
in
money.
2023. It's nothing in 2023, buddy.
That's your
I'm in,
opinion. That's
I'm
your
in that
opinion.
club
But
and
but
I
the
ain't
average
special.
that's your opinion. But the average American does not make six figures. So all I'm saying is we got a bunch of people, according to what you said with the Fox News survey, who are rooting for people making six figures to make more. So if that's the case, if that's the mindset, we can't be mad at CEOs for making what they make.
I didn't say I was mad.
That's all I'm trying to say.
We were looking at how much additional he got on top of his regular salary, so we could subtract that from the extra 100 million or whatever that Sneed just.
And all I said was that he's a CEO. That's all I say. He's a CEO. CEOs make a lot of money. Is what it is.
In this argument that we're all having in here, you all got to understand that the U.S. market is not a free market.
Shout
really? So what is it?
We got a super chat from him. T-Mobile will be the 5G GOAT in the winter because it will turn my phone into both a phone and a hand warmer. Oh shit!
Wait, what?
Dude, so it gets hot. So it gets hot.
His phone heats up with a T-Mobile SIM in it.
All right, well,
make it hot.
The 15 did not get hot on T-Mobile. However, that N2 on Verizon was doing something really weird a few days ago. It got hot.
Oh, blame the band. Oh, Jesus.
I'm gonna put the blame where it was. It was the damn it was Verizon SIM card active.
Bless that phone's hot.
Hey man,
you on Edge Cell or something?
It's a huge manufacturing defect.
Naturally, I'm gonna be on Edge Cell because they can't seem to fix their main tower.
Yeah, huge manufacturing defect with the iPhone 15 for sure.
Oh damn!
So Apple's not perfect?
No, definitely not. No, sir.
Well, it is what it is.
No, sir.
The heating issue, well, the whole heating saga, that didn't happen. It's just the fact that I was picking on Verizon.
Dude, I had that same problem with my Pixel 7 last year, Sam. My Pixel 7 on T-Mobile is always hot.
Hire Mike Seaver for CMO. Are you nuts? That's crazy.
What? Hey, Steve, you know what? You know what's another thing AT&T does too? And Verizon should be taking pages off AT&T, I think. So they'll offer a customer to buy a $10 AARP membership, and for that $10 you get 17% off your bill, and it stays on there for life. So you just buy a subscription once, and that's it.
I mean, I don't think that AT&T is doing bad with respect to sales or any of those things. I think AT&T, again, they had a solid quarter, and they are a very, very formidable company. It's a good company, man. It is. I just don't think that they possess the strength that a lot of people on this show seem to imply. At the end of the day, they're not as profitable as Verizon, and they've laid off way more people. So the financials that they're touting, they're a little bit inflated because they had to shed some blood in order to get it. That's all I'm saying.
So B, earlier you mentioned profitability versus growth, right?
Yes.
So if you look at the principles of that, it says that profitability makes your company survive now, but growth makes your property survive long term. So if AT&T is building all this fiber now that they've refocused in on, they have better options if they can get even close to the pricing of Verizon. But instead of offering fixed wireless, offer fiber to those customers. They've got in spades at that point. And I hate AT&T.
Verizon's not building.
Realize they're not building at the same. No, they're not even close to the same level of AT&T as far as availability.
Can you prove that out? Can you prove that out in like data?
Now. I can prove it right now.
Let's talk about it.
If you look at Verizon, they're in 2 large spots in America, and AT&T is spread over like 20 states.
So they have a larger ILEC footprint. So you're saying because of that they can serve more customers on fiber to the prem, or
so for example, Verizon is bigger. Verizon may be bigger in the one fiber side, but AT&T is more customer facing as far as fiber availability. If you took a poll of people, even in this group of people who have AT&T fiber remotely near them, it will outrun Verizon all day.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to. They have a bigger ILEC footprint. So as far as fiber to the prem.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, at some point, right? if they can be competitive with that fiber pricing and bundle it with that wireless service, I think people would actually choose that over fixed wireless.
Yeah,
I mean,
In the
if you
long
have
run.
access to fiber to the prim, of course. But
Yes.
but as
So
of
what I'm saying, that's
right
the
now,
long term. That's the long term we're talking
okay,
about.
you're not wrong. What I'm saying though is that there are still tons of people who don't have access to AT&T fiber.
I understand that, but all those
because of
people
that,
are more likely to get AT&T before they will get fiber. It's going to be available
if they have access to it. But we already know AT&T ain't building fiber from sea to shining sea. It's not going to do it.
I
It's
didn't
just not
say
going to
they
happen.
were.
I'm not saying that you said. I'm not saying that you said that. What I'm saying is there are still enough people in America who won't have access to AT&T fiber ever.
Understood.
And so
But I ain't
because of
talking
that,
about next
and
week.
so
I
because
ain't talking about 5 years. I'm saying 20 years down the road. You're telling me that Fios is going to be even 20% of AT&T's footprint in 20
that's
years.
not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Then it's irrelevant. You think that's just
It's not irrelevant. And the reason why is because fixed wireless access is a valuable product. It's not irrelevant at all. So because Verizon and also, you know, to some extent AT&T, because they changed up their business model, they didn't have a choice. So as long as Verizon continues to offer fixed wireless access and fiber, they still have a nationwide broadband product to be able to sell from sea to shining sea.
But
Just
what
like
I'm saying is
AT&T
that
was.
neighborhood that's getting AT&T fiber, they're getting that. Say that neighborhood that's getting it in 6 months. When those people look at their bills and realize they can have dedicated fiber for about the same amount of money every month, they're going to be jumping ship.
Okay, well then jump ship if you're unhappy. But if you're happy with what you have, unless AT&T fiber is cheaper, then who's to say people won't stay with what they have with Verizon?
Like I said though, we're talking about if people who are going to choose the best tech available to them. For example, right? Say you got that guy that on off-peak hours, he's a YouTuber and he has to upload a 10 gig 4K video.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on Verizon fixed wireless.
Mm-hmm.
AT&T's fiber is going to beat that every day.
Oh, absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind about that.
So when he says it's a $10 difference, he's willing to pay the $10.
AT&T,
Oh, yeah.
well, a fiber solution will even beat it out on the legacy old 20 meg coax that's slower than fucking snail
Exactly
mail.
my point, though. But that's what I'm saying. Why do you think the cable companies are fumbling over themselves to try to get symmetrical now? Because that is the war they're going to have to fight in the next few years as more fiber is being built.
All that I'm saying is, to your point, there's going to be increased competition. So because of fixed wireless access, you have the ability to be able to compete in places that you never have. So those greenfield areas pretty much are customers that Verizon's never been able to offer anything to but a phone. So now you have the ability to be able to offer a phone and home internet services on top of other products and services such as content and all the other jazz. So you're not wrong by saying AT&T is in a formidable position to be able to compete long term. You're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%. But so is Verizon.
But
Yeah,
all I was pointing out was your profitability
And so is T-Mobile.
versus
That's true.
growth argument. That's all I was pointing out. You're saying profitability is kind of the path that Verizon's on right now. They're not concerned about growth as long as they can out profit.
That's not what I said.
Well, I'm telling you. Okay, I'm telling you how it came off. You don't get to choose how people hear what you say, but you say what
you're
you say.
right.
People feel
But I do
right?
get to say what I said. You're right. I don't get to choose how you perceive it or how you interpret it, but I do get to say what I said. So you're right about that. I agree. You're right. You're right.
So the point is this: if you said that profit, the way you put it, made it sound like whenever you're talking about Verizon losing people, but they're more profitable, so it doesn't matter that AT&T grew people. That comes back.
Not what I said either.
Okay, so what did you say then, bro? Sneed was saying that AT&T was doing better at Verizon as far as turnover.
Let me clarify.
I said AT&T grew more than Verizon did. I didn't say that.
Let me clarify. The reason I say that AT&T had a better quarter is not just about financials. I know that Verizon had higher free cash flow, and I know they had higher total revenues. What I look at with AT&T is I see a balanced approach that is sustainable in the fact that they don't have 2 or 3 bad quarters and then a good one with respect to, like, say, consumer growth. They have, like, religiously posted 400,000+ consumer net adds. Their ARPU is stable and increasing. right? Maybe not fast, but it's increasing slowly. The ARPU in fiber is really good. It increases 7 and 9% consecutive quarters. Everything that they've done so far is sustainable, repeatable, and consistent. Verizon has bad consumer results every quarter, bad prepaid every quarter. That's why I see a glaring weakness in Verizon's game. Other than that, Verizon is elite in all other things. So when a company is well-rounded, they don't have bad quarters. There is a version of this quarter that can be viewed as poor because of consumer and prepaid. Last quarter was worse. First quarter was worse. So basically, Verizon has a tale of two halves every year. They have the really bad half, and then they have the semi-bad half. Like with respect to the weaknesses that they, I guess, are punting, right? They're punting consumer. Anybody who thinks they're going to turn around consumer is living on is in la la land.
You don't think they're going to turn around consumer? You think they have no hope on turning around consumer at all?
For a
Q1
year, no. For a year, no.
I mean, yeah, you're right, Sneed.
Sure.
For a year, you're absolutely right. I'm not saying that they're going to grow every year, every quarter. I'm not saying that at all. But
like, I don't see a year where there can be net ads, bro. I just don't see it.
If you're judging Verizon from what first quarter last year to now, I'm with you. But if AT&T was so strong and has been so strong for so long, why are they trading at $15 a share, Sneed? It's impossible to be trading at less than half of what Verizon is.
Yeah,
but they've been so strong for so long.
Versus the new AT&T.
And okay, so are you judging the new AT&T by just 2023, or are you just? Or I mean, how far are you going back, Sneed? Because with Verizon, you're going back all the way to 2022. So if you're talking about just
I'm looking at the new Verizon, and I'm seeing something that they refuse to address. Right? They're not changing the outcome of the consumer group. It's just not there.
That's inaccurate. But that's just not true. So AT&T has allowed time to improve their business, but Verizon's got to do it tomorrow.
Yeah, but AT&T showed growth and improvement immediately when they started trying. If Verizon has been trying, I swear to God, if Verizon has been trying to fix consumer, there are people that need to be fired right now.
So going from 160 in the second quarter to negative 50 in the third quarter is not an improvement to you?
No.
Okay, well, I respect your opinion 100%, but the street seems to disagree.
But that's
because it's just simple math, Sneed. If you were losing upwards of 100,000 customers and you cut it down to 50, that's an improvement. And it doesn't mean that it's not lost, but that's an improvement. I
would have been fired at my job for this. I don't understand this.
Got some gator shoes.
Me too. I'd be gone out of here.
Well, if you would have been fired, perhaps you would have worked at AT&T because they're firing a bunch of people right now. I don't know what to tell you, Sneed. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that they've lost 50,000. I'm not saying that at all. But you talking about these huge companies? It's hard to pivot these things quickly. Ask AT&T, which is still trading at $15 after having great quarters. All these great quarters in a row.
I'm going to chime in now because now y'all all have annoyed me. AT&T is the only provider that can blanket a whole tri-counties, 3 counties, and low-band 5G and actually have it working stable. And T-Mobile and Verizon both can't seem to get their head out of the damn sand. They're trying to, but they're eating crow. Verizon's got band 13 legacy sites that even the government is asking for them to upgrade now. We're petitioning up to the RF engineers to upgrade their shit, and they won't.
That's all in the budget. There's probably not much anybody can do about it,
Yeah, but AT&T fires people. We bitch about AT&T in this community, but AT&T is the only one doing work on the cellular side, and they don't even really care about their network.
It's not true. We just got finished giving them tons of credit when they put out.
So I don't know.
I'm talking about the general conversation.
I don't know if you're getting like the message. I'm really trying to make my takeaway is there's 10 things at Verizon. 8 of them are elite. 1 is an apathetic afterthought, and the other one is just straight up bad. I have to evaluate their weaknesses objectively. That's what I do here.
I don't disagree with you, Sneed. I'm with you. You are right. Verizon's not
They are
perfect.
an
It's not 10
absolute
out of 10.
cash
I'm with you.
machine. They're a
I'm
cash
with you.
machine, right? Their business model for like just overall business, flawless, right? The business side, elite. Like everything's fantastic, except the one thing that they say that they want to improve, but they just can't. I'm telling you, B, the reason it's not improving is because they don't really care.
Yeah, let me
So,
give
Because
you an
for a
if they,
analogy.
company that is so good at everything else to not know how to do this does not make any sense.
Yeah, imagine putting gator shoes on Siebert. Okay, this is what it's
what
like.
the hell does it matter what kind of shoes this man wear? He a grown man. Let him wear shoes. Who cares?
I'm trying
Why
to.
you care
I'm
what he got
trying to
on?
make.
It don't matter. Who
I'm
cares?
trying to make an analogy that you understand. Okay.
That I understand. What do that mean? What does that mean?
It
Because they're
means.
getting.
It means picture Mike Siebert with.
No, let's get the gator emojis going on the live
Yeah,
chat,
it means
folks.
picture
Oh my
Mike Siebert
God,
with
man.
gator shoes and trying to have him operate with gator shoes on. The point being is Mike Siebert wears sneakers. Okay, he doesn't wear gator shoes. That's my
So
point.
what?
So he's
So what?
fleet-footed. He can pivot. You see what
That
I'm saying?
point is some companies, okay, are just better at doing things than others.
Wow.
That's my
Okay.
point.
All right.
So, Verizon does some things better than T-Mobile. T-Mobile does some things such as marketing better than Verizon, right? Everybody has their own strengths, but um, you know, AT&T, playing the better long game, right? So it's just that the roll of the dice. It's just the roll of the dice. That's what it is.
All right. I'll be around. We'll see what happens. We'll
I
all be
want to
watching.
I want to ask Sneed something. Sneed, say you
Yeah.
live in a rural community. You don't live where, Cleveland, where Verizon has God tier from A to Z. Would you be not happy if you paid $90, $100, or maybe up to $300 for your bill per
Mhm.
month, and you can't load Google.com on your lunch break at school?
I'd have to switch carriers.
That's where rural America is annoyed
Yeah.
with Verizon. Verizon can't play the I'm going to slowly do things. They have
Slowly?
to.
Slowly? Sneed, how long did it
Brian,
take them to get
I
this thing?
still have a 500 square mile
B
area with one
B
C-band site.
B
That's
me
slow to me.
Slowly?
Me and you can have this argument till the sun rises in NYC
Slowly?
I
tomorrow.
mean, I will say this: I'm using T-Mobile
Slowly?
data and not Verizon data. If that tells you anything, I'm using
So
Verizon
Look,
data
Damn,
on
what?
that's
look,
saying
T-Mobile
a
so,
data.
lot. Jesus.
That's
all
saying
right.
a lot.
So
Ouch.
here's where
Wow.
I'm at with this.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, for the folks that are out there that have a lot of these older legacy sites that haven't been upgraded. But for Verizon's part, I mean, I've never seen 230 million pops of mid-band get built this fast.
Because it's
I
never
know
happened
I would
before.
agree.
I know
I
it's not
agree
I
with
know
that.
it's
I
not
agree with
everywhere
that.
yet, but like it's just the luck of the draw. Some places got it first. Somebody had to get it second, somebody had to get it third.
Jesus Christ, man. Dude, America is hilarious. I'm just all
And it
right,
I
sucks.
man.
look at
Once
this. I look at it
you're
like
outside
this.
of those city limits, with the population being sparse, the budget gets thin, that's you play the waiting game, I guess.
So we're supposed to see these companies roll out technologies in 1 year?
Well, no,
Are you
it's not
serious?
just that. It's that people who didn't. There's people on AT&T that still don't have mid-band that are still getting a better experience than Verizon. That
Yeah,
is the point.
because of the FirstNet deal, man. That was major.
Yeah, it is what it is,
Yeah.
though. Hey,
Yeah.
when
No,
it is
that's
winning,
true.
if you go to the middle of nowhere and them people are getting 250 down and they can sit at
Yo,
their kid's soccer game and watch YouTube, and then they switch to Verizon and they can't load a web page, they could care less about the 250 million whoever pops have C-band. They don't care. They just know that this ain't working.
I don't know, man.
They just know it ain't working. That's all they know.
This
They
is
don't care
how
about
I
anything.
I don't know,
this is
man. I
how I
mean,
look at it.
it can't be, but so like I'm not saying that those people don't exist who are having negative experiences with Verizon, but overall, I mean, how many times they won JD Power?
But
How
once
many times they
again,
won
what
Root
what what
Metrics?
I'm
I mean, how
telling
many?
you, Brian, is
Like, I mean,
regardless of the awards, the people who are leaving have clearly decided that they don't have a reason to stay. They ain't leaving because it's
I don't
Tuesday.
disagree with you at
They
all.
ain't leaving because of
I
only
don't
price, because
I
they've
don't
been paying
disagree.
Verizon prices. Most of
I
these
don't
people who are
disagree with
leaving
you at all.
are
There
like
are some
15-year
people who are
customers.
clearly disgruntled. There are clearly people who are disgruntled. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
But I don't think those people in the are in the majority. I don't.
Nobody said they were.
I
Because
know,
obviously,
I
if
didn't
you
say
got
anybody said it
130
either.
million customers and you're only losing like, a $250,000, that is clearly not the majority. We're talking about the ones leaving, not the majority. We're
I
talking
look
about
at
the
it like
ones leaving.
this, man. If people are crying about cellular coverage, then don't live in the bumfuck rule. You know, if
But Verizon
that
is the
matters.
Can You Hear Me Now network who advertised that they're investing in
Yeah,
rural.
Verizon was that network that
Just like we
advertised
got
that,
to hold
Carlos. You
T-Mobile
can't throw that
accountable for
on.
their
I
5G
go.
shenanigans. We got to
And
hold
and
Verizon
and
accountable
and
for
it's not
doing that.
like the majority of America doesn't agree. They
Look,
have an opportunity to be able to judge, and they're judging not only with those awards but with their wallets. Who got the most customers, postpaid or prepaid? Let's be honest.
I've been in towns that don't have midband on AT&T. No radio can vouch for this one. I've been in a town that has, according to the census, just under 2,000 people. Verizon, 2 megs down, 0.5 up, and I'm sitting in front of the damn tower that only has a band 13 antenna.
I understand. I get it.
AT&T's on the same tower, same rack. Sectors are pointing at me. AT&T's doing 300 by 80 on LTE with band 5, 15 megahertz NR.
I'm so sorry that Verizon didn't get it done in 6 months, yo. I'm sorry,
We
man.
didn't actually get done in 6 months.
Okay, 9 months. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I apologize.
but they're literally Verizon's fifth. If we want to throw ballparks, Verizon is less than 15 miles away from one of a major cities. That's what I'm saying. They cover these pops, Brian, but they're not spreading it.
They're not finished either. Like, it's not like they're not finished. They didn't say they were stopping.
No,
they're still going to continue
folks.
rolling out C-band.
Guys,
they're not done.
I'm not even joking. If Verizon's not good for you, you know, and they haven't upgraded, then you really should explore other options. And when Verizon gets there, maybe you reconsider them. You know, I mean, if you want to play it, like, that's what I've been recommending to people. Check with AT&T, check with T-Mobile, make the move. You know, if it's good for you, maybe you want to stick around and stay with them. Maybe Verizon does some upgrades and you give them another look at a later time. You know, but you got to be able to pivot, you know.
There's nothing wrong with that, Sneed. I agree with you, man. You get what's best for you, but
you know what's crazy?
If the whole argument is that T-Mobile and AT&T only work in the city, well, those tables have turned a little bit, is the point.
the data doesn't suggest that. But I mean, I hear you. I
remember when T-Mobile used to have, near a military base, they used to have dead zones. AT&T, they can't say much about it. It used to be slow, but like Noradio just said, the tables are turning, and I hope Verizon gets their point to not let them tables completely turn to a carrier that has literally Swiss cheese security policies.
Has anybody heard Verizon say they're going to stop the C-band build?
That was the argument. We're talking about the keep people already leaving once again.
Okay, and that's fine because, like, I just agree with Sneed that those people have a right to leave if they're not getting what they think they're paying for. So that's cool. But they're not, like, Verizon didn't say they were finished building. AT&T's not finished building either.
Once again, not the argument. AT&T don't need to finish building because they're still better without it. Is the point we were making.
Okay, so be it. Then I mean, do what's best. Do what's best for you, no radio. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
You take that thing personal. You must be. Boy, I hope it does you good in the bed at night, brother. You take that thing personal, brother. You can't
you had to go there
from your personal feelings, apparently. But it is what it is, big dog.
Somebody put a tower near this man's house. So.
Yeah, somebody get a cow over to Austin's county.
Get a
Man.
cow.
Yeah, man. Somebody please get this man some C-band, man. Golly.
Hey, Sneed, this is the part I don't get, bro. I've been to so many areas where it's band 13 only, and I know have these experiences that people say. And
so
these
here's
are
what's
towns
happening,
that are
here's what's happening.
These are Verizon town only, dude.
I know, Los. Here's what's happening. So you get all these like say it's an area where the tower sites are far apart. Let's call it a band 13 only site. Let's say most of the sites in the area are band 13 only, right? Low population, low density. All the odds are stacked against them, right? If you live in an area where that service, like, it services your house, a band like residential on band 13 only is a problem. Band 13 only is cool for like the way out interstate, like when people are driving. Right, you get what I'm saying? But like when people are going to be camping on these towers, band 13 only ain't going to cut it, dog. Those are the sites that are having the troubles, man. You know, so like when you're driving and you're on a band 13 only site, you're only going to be on the site for 5 minutes. Right? The next site is up in 5 miles. Damn, I see you with the Gators, Los. I see you.
bro. But this is the thing, bro. I've been in areas, bro, where literally the spacing and the sites are like 5 to 7 miles apart on band 13, and the phone experience. I don't put my music. I've live streamed on it, no problem. I don't get it.
It's all anecdotal, man. It's all
And some
anecdotal.
of it, and some of that, and some of those areas are IRL markets, which are literally they were old. They're basically what is that like like some sort of, they have the band 13. Somebody else owns the band 13, but they let Verizon use it and maintain it.
Yo, Chame is saying.
And I have
regional
no issues,
provider,
bro.
yeah.
Yo,
Like,
Chame is
not
saying
the
that Verizon is
ROI, you know?
upgrading older generation Nokia RRUs to Samsung.
Well, yeah.
And adding cbrs. So that means they're all right. Now, Marcus, I timed you out before because you got potty mouth. All right, so you can say and write, basically whatever you want, but just don't cuss in the live chat, dog. And respect people. That's all I ask, bro, is just keep it civil. Say what you want to say. Say what you want to say, what you feel. Just don't use inappropriate language in here, because that's the stuff that'll get you out of here, bro. All right, Marcus, no problem. We good.
Now, I will say, one of the cities I did visit in Florida, and I do live in the state, but still, I want you to hear this one. Verizon has made humongous progress in Orlando, Florida, where it used to be a dumpster fire.
Yep.
Does Orlando have C-band now?
Yes, it
Yes,
does.
it does.
It used to be
All right,
really,
so
really bad.
that's outstanding.
It used to be band
So-
66 and all that with the LTE stuff. And when the tourists would come, they would literally, and I would throw it this way. If you were not on some high-end business line, or you were on one of Hans's lines with the priority he has, you felt like your network was being DDoSed.
Yo,
literally.
No Radio just said that Orlando's a dumpster fire.
It's a dumpster fire when you go to the ghetto side. If you're in the tourist side, it's gotten better. I'm not saying it's big time better. It's gotten better.
Proud Boy says Ontario, California is trash for AT&T. I'm not familiar with the area.
So, as a company builds out its new technology, it gets better. Imagine that.
Couldn't go to one page outside of Disney on Verizon.
B's got that vision in his mind right now. He's like, I give you light, I give you water, I give you air. I'm God. Here's your life.
Yeah, I mean, let's just put it this way. So Verizon is, of the next 3 years, extensively going to make C-band nationwide, right? That's coming. That's what we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about that, what is this? What is, we talked about earlier, right? What is that going to do for your profit margins, your churn? And this is why I'm saying that Q1 of 2024 to the next several years, we're definitely, I believe we're going to definitely see a different Verizon. Please take it from me. I used to work there, so just right. I know how they are. I know how they operate.
Well, they're Zero Cool. They're in phase 2, right? So phase 2 is small cells in metro, and it's rural America for C-band, right?
Correct.
That's basically phase 2, because right now they're at 230 million pops. Most macros in most major cities are done.
Right.
Small cells are now going to get done. mmWave is going to be reinvigorated.
Yep.
America gets their upgrade.
Exactly. So Verizon has always been, from the first, like a network perspective, spot on when it comes to layering. They know how to do it. They did it before it was even cool. Okay. So it's just going to take time. Like, guys give the example of Orlando. It's just going to take time. These band 13 only sites get
Is Orlando really that bad?
Customers.
Orlando was horrible during the tourist season.
It was like, maybe give it like 7 years ago. Yeah, it was pretty bad, right? So
who'd you have to be on, AT&T or T-Mobile?
AT&T. But here's the thing: Verizon knows their deficiencies better than anybody, right? They really do. And to be honest, Verizon, as far as their tower count goes, there's always about 30 to 50% more towers that get pushed through versus AT&T and T-Mobile because everybody knows them, right? So again, I like to have this conversation come Q1 2024 on forward, and I can probably guarantee you we're going to see a different Verizon and a more profitable Verizon, a lower churn Verizon, right?
So maybe Zero Cool articulated himself better than I did, but that's exactly what I said 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. As the network
I'm all
improves,
high off shrooms, bro. It's okay. I'm just
I
kidding.
mean, I don't know what that is. I don't understand, man. As the network improves, the churn reduces. There's no extra butter. No, it's the network. Like you remember
No,
the old Democrat guy that said it's the economy, stupid. Yeah, like that's what it is. It's the network. As the network continues to improve, the churn will go down. So for
So
example, who was the industry leader in churn last quarter? It was T-Mobile, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, who just announced 300 million pops with their
unfortunately.
mid-band 5G?
Hmm.
T-Mobile. Like there is a direct correlation between network performance and churn. Well, why is that? Well, all three carriers are relatively priced about the same. There's like a $10 to $20 difference between the three. So with that being said, what's the differentiator? It is the network. So as the network rolls, as C-band rolls out for Verizon, you have to expect that the churn will reduce. I don't understand how. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I mean, Zero Cool said the exact same thing I just said 20 minutes ago, and I don't understand what the disconnect is.
The only thing that anybody is like saying otherwise is that Verizon took a long time to get to this point. Like they let the network get really old. Like some of the sites that were built in 13 or 14, they still haven't been touched. So that's 10 years without a radio or antenna upgrade, right? So
Yeah.
they were looking for, the modernization of getting like band 5, right? Getting, upgraded backhaul from 100 megabit, like just having the newer radios and antennas improves performance, like getting some MIMO gear up there, like AWS and, maybe CBRS before, C-band was there. But like they didn't get a 2018 upgrade. They didn't get a 2019
You're
upgrade
right.
like Cleveland did. So it really got slow. And I think silently some folks left Verizon, right? And if they did, right, they tried AT&T, they tried T-Mobile. Maybe they're still with those folks, but like maybe now with the Verizon upgrades, they get people to look again at them. I don't know.
That's
Here's the
Yeah.
thing.
probably what's going to happen.
We're not
But
talking about
they're the
just C-band. We're talking about whole counties where they didn't build band 66 or add two to band 13 only sites.
Right,
Like they
right. So let
literally
me,
haven't touched these sites in 10 years, not even to add 66 and two to them.
yeah, let me
well,
say
I
this.
mean,
Like the county in the UP here, T-Mobile has added band 41 and ultra capacity faster than what T-Mobile has added. I'm sorry, faster than what Verizon has added C-band. There's only two C-band sites in all of UP, and T-Mobile has blanketed N41 coverage. You know,
they
across
should
the
have.
U.S.
They've had like a 3-year head start.
Oh,
And
really?
AT&T and T-Mobile are the ones that have kind of had a little bit of a stimulus package with respect to the networks. One
So
got Band 14 and one got Sprint. Verizon has had no such help from any government support.
so
So you're talking about a company that has had to compete organically with two companies that have not had to compete organically. So I don't disagree with you guys that those two companies may have more modernized networks from an LTE and also, to T-Mobile's point, excuse me, 5G midband, but they've had some help. Verizon hasn't.
Yeah, they have.
And despite that, what are we seeing in JD Power? What are we seeing in Root Metrics? The sky's not falling with respect to network performance at Verizon at all,
but what
despite the situations you guys are saying. I mean, you can look at it from a financial standpoint. You can look at it from a network performance standpoint with respect to all of the third party marketing. You can look at the financials. I mean, what uh, customer
Well,
count? I mean, what?
let's look at reality. If people are leaving the network, it should get better.
That is true.
If
You're
you're in a city, if you're in a city that's
absolutely.
congested and 10% of people in that city decide to switch, of course your network gets better
And
even
what
without
city
you
would
upgrading.
what city would that be? Because most cities have C-band already.
That's
I thought we were
I
talking
got
about. I thought we
four.
were
I got
talking.
so I looked up my county, Brian. 790 square miles, one C-band site.
Okay,
790 square miles. That is the
okay.
size. That is bigger than most U.S. cities for
And
area.
and so what does that mean? So because
It
that
means
one,
that Verizon still has Band 13 only sites where both AT&T and T-Mobile can consistently do plus 100 meg at any time of the day, meaning that when a football game shows up to a puny little high school, their networks don't tank.
yeah,
That's what it means.
and I think I've done a good job of articulating why. Because both of those companies have had a little bit of a stimulus package the last few
I
years.
don't
And
winning
and
is winning.
and
I
and,
don't care how you
and
got
you're
there.
right.
Maybe Verizon
You're
needs to do
right.
some more
And you're
twerking.
right. In your one county, that may be the case. All I'm saying is Verizon's not done building. So while there
Nobody
are
cares
issues
if
out
they're
there,
done
obviously,
building. You think the
okay.
people leaving are going, hey, when y'all gonna be done? They ain't asking that question.
Well, then
The
let
people ain't going to
look,
the
man.
store talking about when you gonna get done.
Everybody has the ability to make their own decisions on who they want to do
No,
business with, and
once
that's
again, no
fine,
one's
and
made
that's
that argument
cool.
yet, sir. You keep making an argument that ain't nobody making. Once again.
Hey, Big Sept with the super chat.
Right back at you, bro.
T-Mobile,
Because I ain't made an argument to say anything any
T-
different. People can do
T-Mobile.
whatever they want to
I
do.
didn't
We
say
over
that
there.
Verizon
Hold
wasn't
Hey,
on.
hey,
I didn't say
Hold
you
hey,
on.
said it either.
Hold
hey,
on. Hold on.
hey, hold
I
Hold
on.
can
on.
raise my
Cool,
voice too.
Yeah, but hold on.
cool.
Big Sep with the super chat. T-Mobile has improved their network. The churn is going to rise. Trust. Do you guys agree with this statement?
What's up with your boy, Sneed? Get your boy, man. Who are you yelling at?
I ain't nobody's boy, homie, but I'll be your
Nobody.
daddy if you want it, nigga.
Hey,
This is
watch your mouth, man. Watch your mouth.
You
Don't speak to
make
me
me,
that way.
homie.
I,
Make me,
I,
big
I don't
homie.
appreciate.
Make me,
The
big
N
homie.
word. Hey, yo,
Make
Sneed.
me, big homie.
Hey,
I
yo,
bet you get these
Sneed.
mics upgraded
Hey,
since you
Sneed.
know
Hey, Sneed.
everything.
Hey,
Since
Sneed.
you spend them.
Get your
How
why you
about
boy.
you
guys
get these miles
Your boy,
covered,
Sneed.
homie, since you
why
know
you guys
everything?
Your
doing
boy.
this
I
right
ain't your
now?
homie, man.
Why you guys
Exactly, you
doing this?
ain't.
Why you guys doing this right now?
I
Because
don't have a
this
clue.
dude's knee
What's
pads,
happening
put
here? We
in
got
too much
Free
work
Gator
at Verizon.
Shoes
That's
on
why.
T-Mobile
All right,
Tuesday.
you
Free
guys
Gator
Calm down, man.
let's get back on track, please. Big Sep said T-Mobile has improved the network. The churn is going to rise. Trust. Do you guys agree or disagree with the statement? Carlos. Is Carlos here?
You got shoes there.
All right, let me get you in here, Zero Cool. Do you agree with the statement?
He is halfway right. The improved network is going to happen, and eventually, I think probably also in January or February, those white space licenses will be auctioned off. Okay, they kind of usually do that. Will happen next year, right? At least that's what I'm reading. The churn is going to, I predict, is actually going to be lower, not rise.
I think what Big Sept is alluding to is the plan migration situation.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so consider that factor possibly.
You know, here's the screwed up thing. It doesn't matter because like
Where are they going to go?
no, because T-Mobile just gonna inflate the numbers. Like for them to have like high churn is like foreign. Like it's gonna be impossible for them to listen their stupid quarterly earnings. Doesn't care if like half the company, half the customers left. It's like, oh, we got the best churn in the industry. Blah, blah, blah. Like it's ridiculous what they do, and the numbers that they report. I don't even believe a single number that they report because it's all lies. It's all BS. Their announcement today was like, oh, we got to cover 300 million pounds for band 41. Like, what are they smoking? Like, it's all crap. Don't
All right.
believe their numbers. It's all
You're not
crap.
Zero Cool, you're not the first person to question the validity of some of those numbers.
Yes.
Austin, can I get you in on this? Do you agree T-Mobile has improved the network, but the churn rate's going to rise?
Okay, so I'm going to bring this conversation to the average consumer that's not in a tech space. So I know this is going to start some fires, but I'm ready for the kitchen to get hot. All right. No, it will not, because most people are going to sit where they're going to sit. If their phone works, if their phone is reliable, they're not going to flip-flop back to the network that they left that was trash.
It's an interesting point.
Let's get B in here. T-Mobile has improved the network. The churn rate's going to rise. Do you agree or disagree?
I think it's probably going to rise. They've increased prices. They're not the cheapest anymore. People don't look around.
What about the migration of the plans? That whole ordeal.
That too. Security, layoffs, multiple rounds of layoffs. I mean, the list goes on. People gonna look around. Their turn's gonna go up. They're not the quote unquote uncarrier anymore.
Mm. Oh man, Big Sep says World Star stream is off the rails. Nah, it ain't that bad, bro. We just, we got passionate folks on here. Sometimes it happens, bro.
Everything's fine.
Even I snap before, bro. Not
Sneed needs
my
But you
greatest.
didn't say anything derogatory though. You didn't use no derogatory terms.
Nah, man, because I got love for everybody, bro. At the end of the day, I mean, we may not always agree on stuff, but I got love for everybody. I mean, I got people at barber shops, bro, talking shit about me. They forget to get their hair cut, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I hear on that.
I'm all up in the Reddits, bro. They be loving me. God,
hey, man, it is what it is.
Man,
So be it.
man, them comments in your comment section. Woo! They're spicier than
Hey,
you know it's crazy, B. All this stuff. I mean, just look at how I approached tonight's live stream, and they question the objectivity, dog.
It is what it is.
I pushed back on everything tonight, didn't I, B? Did I push back on everything?
You did, man. You did. You always do. You've always been objective. That's why you're the best of the best.
I just want everybody to get all the angles, and then they could do what they like. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that at all, man. Nothing wrong with that at all.
EM Tech, I agree. A winning quarter, absolutely.
I don't see how.
We got to call a spade, bro. It was doom and gloom on that Seeking Alpha article the other night, right?
It was, and like when we talked about it privately, Sneed, I kind of told you, like, yo, whoever that is, they're wrong. It's just inaccurate. They were. That article was 100% false and incorrect. It was wrong. It projected 3%. I mean, it was wrong. Period. It was wrong. The people who have been out there
right about the revenue coming in a little bit short, but like the sentiment was that it was going to be a bad quarter, and it just wasn't.
I mean, Verizon outdid almost every single metric that the street predicted. I mean, the street said 67,000 total, net ads. Verizon got 100,000. They were in line on revenue, so it's not like Verizon missed on revenue.
No, it was close.
They exceeded EPS. I mean,
they were off by 2.6% on the revenue.
Well, no, they were in line. They declined year over year in revenue, but they were in line with what the estimate was from the analysts, from the street.
Okay, gotcha.
So okay. I'm like, I mean, I don't understand how anybody could. All this the sky's falling stuff. It's just not true. It's just not true.
Man.
I'll die on that hill by myself. I really don't care.
Nah.
I'm a grown man.
No, you don't have to be by yourself, because I push back on them people too. Because how many times I called out Moffett Nathanson?
Yeah, wrong.
Or Randall Jr.
Yo, Randall Jr. made an article saying the quiet brilliance of the T-Mobile spectrum position. I've been attacking that article for about a year now, dog.
Yeah, man, it's just ridiculous.
Shout out to my brother Tana, man. Tana So let you guys know the beats that we play, the instrumentals at the beginning of the live stream. That is the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, man. Congratulations to Tano, man. Congratulations to all your success. I know you were talking about doing some new stuff with J. Cole, so congratulations on that. Absolutely.
Yeah, blessings and more collabs in the future, hopefully. That's a good place to leave it at, guys. Is there anything else you want to wrap up the show with? Austin, you want to say anything?
I'd have to send you privately the stuff, but I saw on Twitter, and I'd have to dig it back up, but I don't know where it disappeared in my Twitter feed, because my Twitter feed's always, our X feed is always cluttered. But I saw, and I believe it was in Boston, T-Mobile was able to do 2.4 gigs down by 230 meg up on a 210 megahertz of spectrum on NR.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. That's fast. Reader John, you're right, man. Consumer week. Yeah, I agree. We definitely made sure we mentioned it. Absolutely. All right, guys. Good show. Big shout out to the members of the panel. Appreciate you, B. Zero Cool, Austin, Los, No Radio, who was here for a minute. I know he had to bounce. And then, of course, everybody with the super chats. Big shout out to Big Sept, Tana, S Blue Tech Green, Frank the Tank, Ohio Rail Fan. I think S Blue Tech had a few super chats, and all the patrons and YouTube members. Thank you guys for supporting all the SMT Nation, for the live chat and everything. Thank you guys. We shall see you tomorrow night for the T-Mobile version of the earnings.
Oh, I want to
Peace.
be around for that one. Peace.
You'll get the invite. Peace.
Sure.